Well, the truth is, as we told you yesterday, we weren't supposed to be here today, but I'll explain what happened and why we are here. The FA Cup, we've been dumped out. Okay, so here's why we're here tonight. Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the Highbury Squad. This is a lockdown series bonus episode. And here's what happened. I woke up at an ungodly hour of 4 a.m. to watch the Arsenal play, which, by the way, I think they owe me 40 winks. They need to give me some sleep time back because what I woke up to watch was kind of atrocious, but we'll get into that. Welcome to the show. Dan Potts from Same Old Arsenal Team Talk, host and all-round epic gooner.
Good to be on. Good to be on, man. I couldn't not come on after our chats, man. I had to get on and have my say about this, man. I'm not a very happy bunny, put it that way. So
I know you're not, and neither is Super Kevin Campbell. Welcome.
I'm not happy.
No, I know you're not happy. But here's what happened. Here's what happened, everyone. Just to give everyone an honest take. So we weren't going to do a show today, but we have a WhatsApp group, and in that WhatsApp group is me, Dan, Casey, Lee Judges, and PG. And the fire in that room after this game was undeniable. And we were all going back and forth. It's been relentless since the final whistle has been blown. And there are very differing opinions as to why we lost, how we lost, and what we're doing as a club, especially to defend the FA Cup. So here we are with you. And we have a good, strong... Thank you for joining us in chat already, you guys. It's an impromptu show, but we had to do it. And here's the scoop. We got dumped out the FA Cup. I'm just going to set it up, and I'm going to go to Casey first and then to Dan. And then all of you guys, I want your opinions. I want you to tell me whose fault was it today, the players or Mikel Arteta? What happened? How did we impotently, and I say that, meaning it, impotently defend our title? We're the FA Cup holders, and we showed up looking like schoolboys, scared, looking for their lunch. Super Kevin Campbell, I'm going to start with you. I'm very much of the ilk of Arteta got it wrong today. I'm not Arteta out. You know me, I'm not. But I want to have the ability to criticize him when he gets it wrong, and I want to be able to praise him when he gets it right. Today, I felt like Xhaka, Elneny in midfield. We've seen that show before. We know how it ends. Willian. We've seen that show before. We know how it ends. Pepe. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for still trying to plug him in. He's our most expensive signing ever. Cedric, out of position. I get it. We need cover on left back. Left, right and centre across the pitch. Eddie and Nketiah playing up front for the Arsenal is an embarrassment, considering who's played up front for the Arsenal over the years. It was fire in the chat, Casey.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Listen, the manager is the person who picks the team, and he picks the team because he has to do, he has to manage a squad of players. And unfortunately, it's not just about one game. It's about the upcoming games as well. So, therefore, there are players who he might need to rely on who need game time. We've already heard it, the likes of Pepe need game time. Elneny hasn't really done anything wrong. So why not give him a goal? If he can play, Elneny can play at Old Trafford against Manchester United, he can play against Southampton. So I don't want to hear anybody telling me about, Elneny and Xhaka don't work. Elneny can play in that midfield. All right? Listen.
One
Eddie
game.
And Nketiah, no, but hold on. One game, yeah, it's one game. But he's an international player. He can play. He's an experienced player. It's not as if Mikel Arteta picked kids to come in there. He's picked international and experienced players. Our problem is, and I'm as pissed off as you for going out the cup, because I love the FA Cup. I'm brought up on the FA Cup. But one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not just going to say Arteta got it wrong after the event. I'm going to say those players aren't good enough to wear that Arsenal shirt. Here's the reason why. Because when you get your chance to play at Arsenal, you have to take it. How many opportunities are these boys gonna get? How many?
Which boys?
The players. Who are
but which ones?
Or the team. The team. The ones who do not start. The ones who you and Dan and Lee Judges, I'm going to call Lee Judges out, who said, why is he making so many changes?
Lee,
why is he making so many changes? These are experienced players. These are players who have played. But we've said it once, and I've said it again, Sophie. These guys, Arsenal are upside down at the moment. The young players are leading the older players, and the experienced players are not doing it. That is just the bottom line. It's not Arteta's fault. The squad isn't good enough.
Okay, we're going to get into some nuts and bolts. Opening summary, Dan is in his old bedroom. He's at his mum and dad's. Look at that. He's got the Thierry Henry iconic slide moment. Yeah. Look at that. Brilliant stuff. Is that number 8 shirt? Whose is that?
Yeah, that's do you know what? That's my mum's t-shirt, and she's done this on purpose. She's stuck number 8 Arteta. Number 8.
Go on.
Number 8 Arteta. She's done
Show's
this on
over.
purpose.
Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Yeah. She's basically she's done this on purpose. She loves Arteta. She's one of her favourite ever players and loves him as the manager as well. We always have arguments about it. Bless her.
Dan, the starting lineup. Let's go from just go. You go. Floor's yours.
Listen, Kev's made some great points, and some of them I totally agree with. But my argument back to him would be these players aren't good enough, that he's selected, and he's having to rotate. He knows, surely, as much as we know, that these players are not good enough. So if these players aren't good enough, why do we rotate in this game and basically get knocked out the cup? Because we knew as soon as the lineup was there that it was going to be similar to Newcastle. And if it wasn't for Leno or Andy Carroll's not having his shooting boots on, we would have been dumped out of the last game. So he's happy to put that pretty much same team, apart from Kieran Tierney, into the situation against Southampton, knowing that we were probably not going to have the situation that we did against the Newcastle the game before, because it's a completely different team. So we're more than happy to go and say, do you know what? Tuesday night, rest everyone for that game. That's the big one. We need to make sure that we're fighting for 9th place in that Premier League title ahead of the FA Cup. Get rid of it. And these fans are okay with that I've been speaking to on Twitter. They're okay with that. They're like, listen, it was only the FA Cup. It doesn't matter. Same fans, by the way, that were screaming in June when we won the damn thing. Now, all of a sudden, it's all about trying to fight for top 4. Top 4? Are we for real? We're 10th in the league, and the only reason we're in that top half is because Aston Villa haven't had their 2 games in hand to win to go above us, so we're back in the bottom half. Top 4, we need to forget about this. We are not going to be in the top 4 this season. We are not going to be able to get into the top 4 ahead of the teams that are playing so much better than us, which, by the way, isn't 3. It's about 8 or 9 at the moment. So we need to accept that the 2 things that we had this season, in my opinion, was the Europa League and the FA Cup, which I don't think that we were ever going to win, by the way. But I would have liked to have seen us give it a go. And at the moment, we're now down to one thing this season in the Europa League. And I think these players have let this team down so many times. And this manager is still picking them. And I'm thinking, it's fine for you to pick them if you want to rotate, but do it in a game that you do not have to win. Today, we had to win. So my argument is this. You do one of 2 things. If you say we have to rotate, you do it this way. You play your best 11 and take the 5 subs that we were allowed to do today off out of your 5 best players. Partey, Tierney, Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe. Take them off once you're 2-0 up or whatever it be. Yeah? If that's what you believe are your 5 best players. Or if you don't believe you can do it that way, then you rotate on Tuesday, not today. Because if we lose to Southampton on Tuesday, we're going to be 10th or 11th where we are now. We're just going to be 3 extra points away from the 9th or 8th place. I'm not looking at top 4 at the moment at all. I'm not even looking at 6th. I'm looking at the table, seeing the one in front of us, which says 9, not 4 or 6. It says 9. So I would rather lose this game on Tuesday night and be in the FA Cup. But fans apparently are saying, no, we have to rotate, Dan. You're not understanding. Because I'll tell you what will happen on Tuesday night with Southampton. They won't rotate. They'll use that exact same team that's just wiped the floor with us.
But Dan, hold on a minute. Dan, even if he picked the strongest team, we still could have got beat today. But that's we have no. There's no. Hold on. There is no divine right of Arsenal. And let's be honest. With our strongest team, Southampton will still give us problems, and they have done. So there is no divine right to say if he picked all the players, all these you, Sophie, and Lee judges wanted, that we would get a result. And by the way. I'm seeing some people in chat as well say, don't put them all in at once. Well, when do you put them in? When?
Listen, Super Kev, let me tell you something about this, okay? There's rotation and then there's annihilating the team and, you know.
Dan's getting hot. I like it, Dan.
He is getting hot. He's getting very hot. He's getting very, very hot. And everyone in chat is getting very hot as well. Good. For example, you have MaitlandNiles. Okay, he had a bad game the last game. He was a savior in Project Restart. And now we're going to rag on MaitlandNiles for having one bad game and he can't start yet. We're going to start Willian game after game after game after game after game. I mean, Arteta loses credibility with Arsenal fans when he continues to try and squeeze square pegs in round holes. How is it Willian stayed on the pitch in that match today? Pepe, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because you know why? In the second half, and this is a stretch for me to even say, but I saw him trying. I really saw Pepe trying to make something happen. He had a couple of good touches, passes, and that's, like I said, a stretch for me to say, but at least he made the effort to try and help his team. You're going into a game against Southampton. You're languishing in the Premier League. You're defending the FA Cup. And I know I'm the one person on this show that said I'd sacrifice the cup this year to be more competitive in the league and win Europa League. But when you're not competitive in the Premier League, you put your eggs in the cup baskets. And that's the FA Cup and the Europa League, Super Kev and Dan. And so it is almost a crime to defend Arteta when he keeps picking these players. You know what? Don't pick Willian. Pick Willock. Pick at MaitlandNiles. You know, why should Willock not be given another chance and Willian's been given a chance over and over again? Why? Because we've spent a ridiculous amount of money to failure. No, it's not.
They don't play the same position.
It's not about the same position. He's tinkering the team.
No, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute,
Sophie. Let me finish.
Go on, you finish.
He's tinkering the team. Cedric can play left and right. I get that, right? MaitlandNiles is a hybrid player. He can play midfield, right back. He can play left, okay? The problem, Willock can play in the midfield. Xhaka and Elneny, they never work. It is so obvious that they don't work together. We've seen it over and over and over again. But he squeezed another square peg in a round hole. Why didn't he play Xhaka with MaitlandNiles in midfield? That's what I'm talking about.
They're two midfielders. How is that a square peg in a round hole when they're both central midfielders?
Because what's the difference between Elneny playing and MaitlandNiles?
Elneny is a midfielder, okay?
Right.
And he's more experienced than Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So him playing beside Xhaka isn't a square peg in a round hole as far as I'm concerned.
What about starting Eddie Nketiah up front? He's a child. He looks like a child.
He started before. It's not the first time he started. But hold on a minute. It's not the first time he started. What I'm saying is he's got to give some of these players game time. He has to. Because if we get injuries down the line, these players need to be ready. That's what a manager has to do. He has to prepare the squad as best he sees fit. Bellerin didn't play against Newcastle. Bellerin played today. Nobody never said anything about that.
But KC, do you not think though as well? you look at that situation, and what you've said there's spot on. He needs to give everyone game time, right? Absolutely. You have to use your squad. Every manager does. But he is using the wrong players, in my opinion, too often. And the reason I say that, and the evidence I've got for that, is Maitland-Niles again today was on the bench and was unused. Reece Nelson, what's happened to him? He wasn't even in the squad. Joe Willock doesn't get a nod. But Willian and Pepe, who we've seen, and they've showed us what we can do. Elneny and Xhaka have shown us for 5 years what they can do at Arsenal. But we're not looking at anything different there. So for me, I'm looking at that team straight away thinking, we're not going to win today. I looked at my dad and said, we're not going to win today. He is taking Tuesday night more seriously.
Dan, so what you're saying to me is, if he'd have picked Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, etc., that we would have won today against a full-strength Southampton. So what is it? So again, this is my point, though. So however he rotates, it's not going to be good enough when we lose. But he has to give the players game time. He's not going to give it in the league.
He's not giving those players game time. He's leaving them out altogether. That's what I'm saying. He's not using the squad.
Yeah, but he's the manager. He's the one who picks the team. And let's have it right. It's not as if those players haven't played, Dan. Those players have played. And they haven't.
Do you think, though, that Willian,
hold on. Those players have played. And they haven't done it. True or lie? So
neither of Willian and Pepe, though, but they still keep playing.
But he's gonna pick the experience.
But it's not working.
I know, but it don't work with the other lot either. So he has
to. But it was in the Europa League. In the Europa League, it was working.
Someone.
Wait, hold on a second.
He has to rotate with somebody.
Yes, but rotating, Casey. Our point is this: if you're going to rotate the right players.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And
find the right players. This is my point.
Let me give you an example, and Dan can too. And let's all do this, and everyone in chat. Let's do this because it's heating up in chat as well. I would have started. Maybe I would have rest Bella in today. Okay, he did nothing today. He was useless. He was captain.
Sophie.
Huh?
He rested against Newcastle.
But the point is that if you're going to rest players and you're going to bring in players and then you're going to rest players, but then you're going to bring on Partey and Laka and Saka to try and get you a goal and then get you to extra time. How is that resting players?
Exactly.
No, you rest. Listen. Well, let me explain it to you then if you don't get it. The point of the matter is you need them there just in case, right? That's why you have these players on the bench. You can't have everyone on the bench.
What if he had started Partey today? Come on.
He never. So
but why? Okay, so let me give it to you this way. Let me spin it.
Would have started. What if Lacazette? It's no point doing that.
Okay, let me spin it. Let me spin the question to you both. And this is I'll start with Dan. If you're going to rotate, I get it. He brought all those players on after. Why not start with your strongest? Look at Pep Guardiola. Look at the team he fielded today against an average team, not even a Premier League team. We're defending the FA Cup. And look, as I said, I want to win Europa League and be progressive in Premier League this season. But if you're still defending the FA Cup, I'm angry because of the manner in which we lost it, the manner in which we lost the game, the lack of preparation. That team did not look prepared. So why not start with Partey in midfield with Xhaka and then substitute him at 60, 65 minutes? Start strong, get your goal, and then prepare from there. Why not start Laka and Saka? You know, you're starting Gabriel Martinelli with players that have no movement, no fluidity, and they have zero confidence right now. And you're expecting Gabriel Martinelli to have an effect. He then takes Martinelli off when Saka and Laka come on. And maybe what he should have done was play them together for a little bit to try and penetrate and get that goal and get that fluidity that we've seen, Dan. Do you agree or not with that? Like, if you're going to end with them, why not start with them?
100%, and that's exactly what I said right at the start. Start with your best team. Take the ones off that you feel you're going to need on that Tuesday night. If it's so important to win that game more than it is today, then take those 5 off that you need to. And Kev talks about going with experience. We've seen what Willian, Pepe, Xhaka, Elneny can do. One thing I will say, and it's why I stuck up for Arteta when he dropped Ozil, was because Willock, Smith Rowe, Maitland-Niles would always give you 110%. Doesn't matter if they're not good enough. Willian and Pepe are not giving us 110%. And they're the two experienced players that he keeps playing. And I do not understand what Maitland-Niles and Reece Nelson and some of these players that have been performing for him, albeit in the Europa League, what more have they got to do? Balogun. Why is it that guy is going to stay with Arsenal if we keep putting Eddie in front of him? What has Eddie done to deserve to be playing ahead of Balogun? What has Nelson done wrong not to be playing ahead of Willian? What has Maitland-Niles done so bad not to play ahead of Bellerin, Cedric, or in midfield ahead of Elneny? What is it that's so bad about him? What, because he couldn't cross the ball against Palace, now he can't play again? Because that's what it seems to me. He doesn't even use him as subs. So there's so much confusion in terms of misman management with this manager. I'm just not convinced by it at all. And I see that today out there, and it was a disgrace from those players. And it's like Arteta comes off and he's like, I'm so proud of them players. They did exactly what I wanted them to do. We were trying to go for that goal at the end. And then his comments about Gabriel, wasn't really ready to play. He had COVID, what's he playing for then, man? Pepe and Willian. He's not good at press conferences. Everyone loves his press conferences. He's a journalist's absolute dream. Some of the stuff that comes out of this guy's mouth, he just gets caught into a trap. And I see it again today about Gabriel. I thought, I can't believe he's just said that. What? It shows inexperience. Of course, he's going to say some silly things, but come on, man, be a bit better than that. And with Willian and Pepe, they're not up to the level at the moment, and we know what they've got to do to get them up to. So you're admitting you've just put two players into the side that aren't up to it to cut it at the moment, and you're happy to play them. And then you come out and back them and say, actually, I was happy with what I saw out there. Well, no other fan was, Mikel, and now we're dumped out of the cup, and we got to play on Tuesday night, and we have to win, by the way, because if we don't win on Tuesday night, he is going to look an absolute fool. He dropped these players so that they're ready for Tuesday night. So it's a win. It must be a win now. Surely. We can't lose that game.
We've seen it happen before, Dan.
KC, you've got an echo.
We've seen it happen before. Not my end. We've seen it happen before where a manager rotates and he goes into the next game and it doesn't work out. We've seen it happen. But I'm telling you,
do you think it was arrogant today, Casey? Do you think it was arrogant?
Honestly, I don't. I think it was just getting players game time. It's important. I think it's really important for Mikel Arteta. We done a Kev Says on Wednesday, and I asked the question, do you think Mikel Arteta now should start building his proper team, his first 11, or should he still rotate? And we know we want him to get a full 11. Of course we do, that we can stick with. But we know he's going to rotate. Why? Because we know the games are coming thick and fast, etc., etc. The fact of the matter is, it's all very well to do it after the event when we've lost the game.
But we said in our show a few days ago that he should play his strongest team to defend the FA Cup. Did we not?
No, we said, what would we do? But we are not the manager. We would go strong. But the manager is going to rotate if he sees fit. That's the manager's job. We could say play the strongest team. Of course we can. But the manager felt it's right to give some of these other players a game.
What is the pain? What is the pain last season? David Levine here has a good question. Where does the squad finish this season? Top half and no trophy. What eased the pain last season was winning the FA Cup. That's what eased the pain. And this year...
It is the pain, Sophie. It is the pain. But, Sophie, you said you would forfeit the FA Cup for...
yes, I did.
So, hold on. So, the FA Cup's gone. Let's see. We got 19 games left.
No, KC. I said that when it was the start of the season and we were going through it, hoping we'd be competitive in the league. Now knowing that we've got no chance of top four, really. I mean, we really don't.
We're 7 points off top four.
I know, but we have to rely on other teams. How can you say
we've got no chance?
Because in my heart, this team that you're complaining about, the players who cross the white line, that can't finish, they can't do it, they don't have the mental strength. Why am I going to expect them to finish in the top four? So when I say that, at the beginning of the season,
I never said expect them to finish. I said have a chance. That's what I said. Have a chance of the top four.
They have
Why don't they? There's 19 games.
Because we're relying on other teams like United, like City, like
we're
Tottenham,
not relying on other
like
teams.
Liverpool,
We're not.
Like
We're not relying on other teams. We're not.
We are. We have to rely on them to
all.
lose games now.
We've got to play them all. What are you talking about?
And how many? And you know what? And how many of those games will we potentially win? We don't know that. We're complaining about the place, but then we expect them to win and finish in top 4.
You got the chance. You've got to have a chance. We're not relying on them. We can beat them. We've proven we can beat them. Will we beat them? I don't know. But we have 19 games to get there. We do have a chance. You can't say we haven't got a chance.
We have a slim chance. Okay, so Dan, what I said was I'd sacrifice the cup this season. At the beginning of the season, we were talking about where we see everything laying out. And I said I'd sacrifice the cup in order to win a European trophy again and get back into the Champions League via the Europa League and hope that we can be competitive in the Premier League. My dream was that we could really be competitive or try to be in the Premier League again. That is not being proven right now. So when one of your entries into Europe is through the FA Cup and you're defending the FA Cup, and as a manager you choose to field a team and make so many changes against a Premier League team, it's not like we were playing Cheltenham, who I understand are winning 1-0 against City, so I'll eat my words if that happens at the end of this show. But that's my point, the inconsistency in this decision-making and understanding and identifying what is the priority and what isn't. And we don't have a chance really to finish in the top 4. I mean, we kind of do, but we don't. You know what I mean?
I don't think we've got a chance of top 4 even. You know, I don't think we'll get it, and I don't think we've got a chance of it. And the reason I say that is because we've got games of importance coming up that in the next, I reckon by a month's time, we'll probably know that top 4 is off, because we've got a ridiculous amount of fixtures with a squad that he seems to think we have to keep rotating. So these players, and we've already seen, without Smith Rowe and Saka in the side, we can't win a game. So he has to keep using these 2 youngsters, and when they're out the team, we can't win a game at all. So I'm looking at the situation in the league, and already before this game we're saying, please go all out for today. Don't worry about Tuesday if we mess up. We've already lost to Burnley, Leicester, Wolves, dropped points against Southampton, Everton. We can't beat those teams. So why is it that all of a sudden it's like, it's top 4 still on? For me, I don't think it is. And unless we were going to buy a Bruno Fernandes type player and somebody to compete in midfield with Partey, then I still think that we are not going to be anywhere near the top 4 this season. So therefore, we've got one way of getting a trophy in the FA Cup and getting into Europe without finishing in the top 6, and another way of getting into the Champions League by not finishing top 4 by winning the Europa League. There were our 2 chances. One of them's now already gone because this manager has decided to go and say, I don't really care about this game. Let's concentrate on Tuesday. And let's throw the team that have let me down and stunk the house out for the last 4 months of my being here for this season, and then just accept that, bit surprised that we didn't win. Bit surprised that Eddie Nketiah, who had 3 chances, by the way, and scuffed every single shot, and it's like he's surprised by this, and he's happy with his work rate. He's happy with what he saw. I can't understand. I'm just not convinced by what I'm seeing at the moment. I don't see a style of play. I don't know what game he wants to play. I don't understand what we're trying to achieve on the football pitch. I saw bad performances from everybody at the moment. Them's 2 opportunities for us. One of them is now already gone. It's all about the Europa League for me now, because this league, even if we want to get top 4, we can't drop many more points. We've already lost 9 games. Exactly. How many teams have lost 9 games and got top 4? My lights have just gone out. So
is it that hot in there, Dan?
It's that hot. It's
that
heating
hot
up that
in
much.
There? Bloody hell! You're popping the lights. Listen,
and now just a silhouette.
No, listen. The fact of the matter is, we're all pissed off about the game, but the facts are this: how else do you get players up to speed? Because even if you go for your Reece Nelsons, etc., they still have to get up to speed. Dan, Sophie. They're not just going to hit the ground running, so you're going to have to play them at some stage. This is my point. So whether it's Willian and Pepe or it's Reece Nelson and Willock, if the result goes the wrong way, then we're going to come out and say we never played our strongest side. So he can't win. But
okay,
we have to use the squad.
Okay, so I have a spin on this because, by the way, the light here is crazy today.
You 2 are too hot, man.
storming and raining here in California. Let me just get
calm it down.
Hold on 1 second. You
get some water.
Someone was worried about you, like, yeah, they're worried about your heart over here. And I'm like, heart of a lion, this one. Okay, so here's the scoop, right? Regardless of who he chose, answer me this honestly, Kev, and I'm going to start with you and then go to Dan. To me, it felt like you're defending the FA Cup, your title, okay? It seemed like they didn't give a fuck. I don't usually swear on this show. But I'm telling you right now, hold on.
No, I'm going to agree with you. Hold on.
And why is it they played with so much apathy? They looked like they didn't care. You know why? In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I don't have facts and I'm not basing this on any insider information. When the manager sends a team out like that, to play another Premier League team that has been superior to you in the Premier League this season and is going full strength, okay? How is it our players aren't revved up, riled up, fired up to defend the FA Cup? Where was the leadership on the pitch, the passion, any of that? The manager did not like sometimes a manager gets you so riled up or you're so riled up as players that you go out and you fight, Casey. It just felt like they didn't care.
Sophie, I've said it once. I'll say it another million times. You talked about not being prepared. They were prepared.
No, they weren't.
They were prepared. I mean, that well, no, you could say what you like. A Premier League manager does not go into a game against opposition not prepared. Nonsense. So I don't agree with you there. The team that was picked never had the fire. Do you want to know why they never had the fire? Because Southampton showed them up. That's why. Southampton had the energy. Southampton had the toughness. Southampton had the mentality to go at them and to press and to close. To press and to close is hard graft, Sophie. And we've seen it happen before with these players. We've seen it. Just like we're saying, we're not surprised by it. The fact we're defending an FA Cup means nothing to these boys.
Means nothing to this guy.
It means nothing to the team because remember when we beat Chelsea, I saw Granit Xhaka coming out and speaking loads. Where was he today in that midfield bossing stuff? He wasn't. So
he should have played this guy from the start.
No, but I don't think we should have played him. I don't think we should have played Partey. For me, I truly believe the team, if you're going to pick an Arsenal team to play Southampton, the least is the players should be up for it. That's the least. But we have seen it time and time and time again that they are not. And they got showed up by a Southampton team who were hungrier. That's the bottom line. We could talk about this one not playing, that one not playing. Forget it. When you cross that white line, you've got to fight your opponent. And Arsenal just weren't at the races today, I'm afraid.
I mean, it's embarrassing when your most expensive signing, Dan, just continues to flounder. This guy, it's time to cut our losses, isn't it? I mean, when you have Willian and Pepe on the pitch, Dan, and then, you put Eddie up front with them, it's not a proven formula. They haven't really played together. You kind of disbanded something that works. At least if you're going to tinker sensibly and smartly. And I think that's the issue I have with him today, even though I was willing to say, okay, we've won 4 FA Cups in 6 years. If we're going to sacrifice anything this year, maybe it's the FA Cup. We can win Europa League, hopefully, and climb up the Premier League table. But today he made so many tinkering changes that didn't really set the players up to succeed. And then you see this guy, no thumbs up, Pepe. No, thumb down. We need a thumb down picture. Pants. Dan?
I've given up with Arteta picking these players because I know what they're going to do, because they've showed me what they are. They've showed me what they are in the last 4 years, 2 months, 6 months. the same. They've never improved. They've never changed their mentality. They've never looked like they've wanted to be on that pitch. And these are the same players, in some of them, maybe 2 or 3, that messed up in Baku. These are the same players that decided that they wanted to down tools on Unai Emery. These are the same players who I believe have already down tools on this manager, because you can't tell me that the players out there today were playing for this guy. There is no way that they were tuned and drilled and understood what they were supposed to be doing for this manager, because there was no style of play out there. There was no understanding in midfield. There was no balance. And it took for Partey and Saka to come on yet again for us to look like we were going to do anything. And then that brought Pepe to life for a couple of minutes towards the end.
I agree with Priska here as well. He did improve in the second half. There's a stretch, but he did, yeah.
But improving, to me, in the second half has been nowhere near good enough for Pepe. And it's been consistently bad. That's the problem. I don't mind people having bad games. We've got too many players that are having consistent bad games and that are still getting the chance. And this is why I come back to my point about Reiss Nelson and about Maitland-Niles and about Joe Willock. What is it that those 3 individuals have done, and Balogun as well, that's 4. What have they done when they've showed us what they've got that's so much worse than what Willian and Pepe have done, when Willian and Pepe have played twice as many games as them? I don't get it. I just do not understand this. I look at the situation now and I think we have got a squad of players where only maybe 8 at a push are good enough to stay here. And that's worrying. Yeah, for the to wear the Arsenal shirt, I would say there's 8 of them that are good enough. So what we've looked at there is many that are not good enough. And the ones that Arteta keeps picking and having loyalty are the ones that have let us down as a football club between the last 4 months, right the way back to probably 4 years ago when Granit Xhaka was doing it, when Mesut Ozil and Lacazette and Bellerin and Mustafi and all that was still here. And these players, some of them are still getting picked in this first team. And I cannot for the life of me understand what they have done to deserve that. Now, when the young players have come in, some of them hasn't performed. I'm not a huge fan of Eddie Nketiah or Joe Willock. I don't actually think they're going to make it at Arsenal. I was brutally honest with you. But what I see from them in the Willocks and Nelsons is something that gives me more kind of fight. In the kind of same way I had with Iwobi and Welbeck. They were never going to be world beaters, but they give you 110%. And they do more than, at the time, the Mkhitaryan's and the Theo Walcotts and whoever else we had that were just needed to be shifted out. And that's where I'm at the moment. Because what Reiss Nelson and Joe Willock and the other players like Balogun's are doing are showing more fight than Willian and Pepe. And they're getting ahead of them every single time. So if I make Maitland-Niles, I'm thinking, where's my place here then? Because he doesn't want to play me left back or right back anymore. He doesn't want to put me in the midfield. I can't get ahead of any of these terrible players. Why did he want to keep me? Why didn't I go to Wolves for 25 million and then Arsenal use that 25 million to go and buy Basuma from Brighton? I just don't get it. I do not understand.
Dan, let me ask you a question.
Go on,
let me ask you a question, Dan. Do you think Maitland-Niles not being involved is because of how he played in his last game? It was against Palace, wasn't it? Because it isn't. No, because it isn't.
I don't, because if Willian starts, then Maitland-Niles can start every day.
Because there's something going on with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Listen, I don't know what it is, but I think there's something going on with him in the background, and Arteta's not happy. Because remember, he fell foul at the back end of last season to start with, where I think he was banished to go and train with the 23s. Then he came back into the team for the Wolves game. He done well against Traore, didn't he? And then he was kind of towing the line, and he was involved, and he done brilliant at the end of last season. Obviously, he was involved at the start of this season in the charity community shield, etc. But over the last month or 6 weeks or whatever, something's happened internally where Maitland-Niles is in, and then all of a sudden sometimes he's not even on the bench.
KC,
something's gone on.
This is where I say to you that sometimes, I mentioned this on a show a couple months ago, Arteta's still young. A little bit like Frank Lampard. They're both in the same boat, but Lampard's boat is sinking faster because he spent 300+ million on this new team, and he's not getting lemonade out of his lemons, right? Somehow Arteta in the last 3 or 4 games in the Premier League has been able to squeeze lemonade out of some of his lemons. But also injuries saw us thankfully, see Emile Smith-Rowe emerge, and him having to maybe make some changes based on whether it's fatigue, injuries, etc. Okay. And so there's an ego and an arrogance to him. Look, he's a dude. He's still 38 years old, 39 years old. He has issues himself with, of course, certain players behaving a certain way. Ozil goes, Guendouzi goes. You could argue that maybe right now we could use someone like Torreira. Maybe that was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe that was a sweetener for us to get the party deal. But really, it wasn't, because we still had to pay for parties clause. So someone like Torreira right now might be helpful to us. In some ways, at some point, he's also cut off his nose to spite his face. And he's got this young ego thing. And Frank Lampard, I think, is suffering from the same thing. So when we talk about players, how is it, and I want you to explain this to me because nobody has yet, why is Willian, if Ozil can be ostracized and sat on the bench for footballing reasons, why does Willian continue to be picked by this manager? Help me understand that, both of you.
I'm going to leave it to Kev because I can't give you an answer. I've no idea, Soph.
He's an experienced player. He's been brought in by the manager, and that's why he picks him. He's done bugger all. I know, but what are you going to jump down my throat when you're asking me to explain, or are you going to let me explain?
Depends what you say. I might jump down your throat in a minute.
Well, listen.
All right.
He's been brought in by the manager. I agree with you. Like I said, it isn't working out. Willian looks a shadow of the player. He looks a shadow of the player. Of course he does. I'm not blind. I see it. But you ask me, why does he keep getting picked? He gets picked because, one, he's got the experience, and two, he trusts him more than he does the others. That's why.
How can he still trust him after he's let him down game after game after game after game?
Because he does.
How?
Because he does.
Dan, how?
The manager has to trust him, and he does.
I can't stress to you enough how much this frustrates me, because if you're going to give someone a chance like Nelson and say he hasn't taken his chance, so Willian has. Do you know what I mean? This is what I don't get. The manager's saying, I want to pick Willian because I'm forcing him to be good. One, because he's my signing, and two, because I pay him 220 grand a week. That's the only two things I can think that he has forced this guy in. So when I look at people saying Eddie Nketiah hasn't taken his chance, but he's still getting the game time. Willian hasn't taken his chance. He's still getting it. Pepe's still getting it. Elneny of late has been dire. He's still getting the chance. We've seen Bellerin play poorly until the last few games. He was always our first choice right back. So why is it okay for some players, but it's not okay at MaitlandNiles, bad left back, see you later. Joe Willock didn't quite do it, see you later. Not even in the squad. Likewise with Reece Nelson today, not even in the squad. You've been so bad, you don't deserve it. Balogun, you've only played 10 minutes and you've scored every single time, but you're not good enough. Eddie's better than you. Get out. Where's the explanations here? It's not transparent enough. There's too many question marks over it. And it goes right the way back to offering David Luiz contracts and offering Mustafi contracts, which luckily he rejected.
He never offered him a contract. He never offered him one. So let's get that right. He never offered Mustafi a contract, Dan. Come on.
But how do we know that, Kev?
Listen, he never offered him one. No chance. No way.
How do we know that? So we believe other things that are reported, but we don't believe that he offered Mustafi a contract.
I 100%. I 100%, because nobody wants Mustafi and he wants to go on a free.
Well, nobody wanted Papa or Ozil.
No. They did. Socrates could have gone in the summer, but he never.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, but that's the way.
This guy was on the winning side today. Sorry,
this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem we've got, unfortunately, and it's a inherited problem over the last 12 years. The squad and the recruitment has not been good enough.
We know that. We all know that Arsenal Football Club have done shit business. We gave contracts to players that did not deserve them at the rate they were earning per week. We also know that as much as we fell in love with Mesut Ozil, and we all loved him when he first came to the club and we were in awe of the signing, when Sanchez left and they gave him that contract, we were all stoked that Ozil didn't leave. Okay. But it didn't work out. Whether that's the club's fault for giving him that money and him resting on his laurels, or whether it's Mesut Ozil coming off a World Cup where an entire nation blamed him for losing, and perhaps that got to him because he's a human being as well. Things like that happen, okay? Giving Kolasinac the money they did, giving Mustafi, giving Socrates, terrible, terrible deals, one after the other. Arteta inherits a team. And at the beginning, and somewhat, some of his old mates, he's playing them, right? And instead of coming in and wiping the slate clean, he saw Wenger fail towards the end. He saw Emery fail towards the end. If you're coming in and you're being given a clean slate and a project as an Arsenal manager, why are you continuing to choose these loser players? And then you go and sign a Chelsea player who, yes, he won everything with Chelsea. Brilliant. But he's in the twilight of his career. And you give him 6-figure contract and then you double down and extend his deal. And now we're stuck with him. You overpay for Pepe. Arteta inherited these problems. So did Emery. Emery managed to go on a 22 unbeaten game run with some of these losers, these so-called losers.
Sophie, hold on a minute. Arteta never brought Pepe in.
Huh?
Arteta never brought Pepe in.
I never said that. I said
no, but I'm saying that. Yeah, but it's the club. It's a club recruitment problem.
But what I'm saying is you inherit these players as a manager and as a coach. Okay, he's a better coach than he's a manager. Firstly,
but you're saying clear the decks. You cannot.
I'm not saying clear the decks. I'm saying
that's what you said.
No, what I'm saying is don't play the losers that have been letting Arsenal Football Club down over and over again. And you bought a loser in Willian, who used to be a winner, but somehow now he's at Arsenal. He's a total loser, but you keep picking him over and over and over again. So, yeah, Dan...
Because you trust him.
Let's get it right. We've got 2 games, one today and one on Tuesday. This is my main frustration about today. We have a side that is currently winning. We have a side that is a lot weaker and that is not winning. And he has decided, for whatever reason, to put today's game as the one where we can get away with playing the weakest team, and Tuesday's one is much more important. And that, for me, is the complete wrong way round. And I say it again, this was the FA Cup. Yeah, this wasn't a League Cup game against a real poor side that we thought, do you know what? The kids can have a go here, or some of the experienced heads can have a go here. They haven't done it for me yet, but we'll be okay because it's only Southampton. That, for me, is what that said on that pitch today. We'll come out, we'll do the bare minimum. It's only Southampton. We'll be fine. We'll get through it. When Tuesday, we'll get ready for that game. We'll get ready for that. We'll have Tierney, we'll have Saka, we'll have Smith Rowe. They'll be raring to go. So I hope they are, because otherwise Arteta is going to look foolish. I would rather play that team that we saw today on Tuesday and nick a point at St Mary's or lose it, because
that
I don't
ain't
care.
Making no point then.
Also,
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I'd rather leave that.
Nicking no point.
And let me tell you, over on TV.
So why didn't we play it today then? So we knew we were going to lose today.
Exactly.
No, Dan. But the point of the matter is, like I've said early on, when do you give the guys game time? You don't give
when
it
they deserve it. When they deserve it.
No, but they do deserve it, because you might need them down the line. You might need them. So the players you talk about, why don't you give Reece Nelson one? They still have to get up to speed. So when would you play them? You don't play them in the league. You will play them in the cup.
Willian's not up to speed, and he's been playing every bloody week.
No, he hasn't been playing every game.
It's hypocritical to say that, to be honest.
He hasn't been playing every game.
No, but you're saying that players need to come up to speed. The point of having a squad is having them
how
prepared
do
and ready.
You get them up to speed, Sophie? How?
You get them.
The only way you get them up to speed is
to manage Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, but that's what he's doing. He has to play them to get them up to speed.
But why not play Balogun then? He's up to speed.
Balogun, I've told you, Balogun is not playing because he's not signing.
Doesn't matter. Play him and sign him. Why do we have to think like one channel, one way? And by the way, I'm not all over the place. Do you want to know why? Here's the scoop why I'm not all over the place. Stop talking about Arteta out when people have an opinion about Arteta making managerial mistakes in certain games. Stop this rhetoric. This isn't the Lee Gunner channel, okay? We are not Arteta out. We are expressing our opinion about our manager.
We're debating on the manager. Yeah.
What he does right and what he does wrong. We have lauded him and we have also criticized him. Today, in my opinion, he made some mistakes. So it's not being all over the place. It's having an opinion about what he does right and what he does wrong. And let me tell you something else. This is the FA Cup, okay? And we're the defending champions. Whether you wanted to win the FA Cup or not, we're defending a title. And it was a limp dick performance today defending that title when you've seen teams, 14 Arsenal teams, win this cup over and over and over again. We're not competitive in the Premier League. We're unlikely to finish in the top 4. So we've got to go for the cups. So excuse me, for people who have an opinion, okay, who can juggle their opinion based on what they see in front of them. Just don't. Has Arteta won the Champions League? No. Has he won the Europa League? No. As a manager, has he been in situations with top tier players and won things? Absolutely. But you guys are giving Wenger a harder time, who's a legendary manager, and you wanted him out, and defending this guy who's making some mistakes. It's okay to do that. So let's stop and let's separate the two groups. You can criticize Arteta if you want. It's not the end of the world, and it doesn't mean you don't love Arsenal. Dan.
Spot on, man. Spot on. The amount of people that get jumped down this certain section of this fan base that think that how dare you question this manager? How dare you say something bad about this guy who won us an FA Cup? But those same fans were slating Emery and Wenger, absolutely slating them. But they don't want to slate Arteta. I've been questioning this manager for ages, absolutely ages. I wanted to see change when we got thumped at Villa. That was back in November. I see no changes against Leeds, against Tottenham, against Wolves. It took him another 4 games for him to then decide, actually, now Bellerin and Xhaka are out. Perhaps what I'll do is I'll play Maitland-Niles and then I'll play Smith Rowe in that number 10 now that he's back. And it worked. And all of a sudden, he's fell into the trap of I've been forced to make a change. Now I can't change it because it's keeping me in my job. So I look at it and I still don't see that it's convinced. I'm not looking at the performances and being excited. I'm looking at the results and I'm happy when Arsenal win. Of course I am, but I look further into it and I'm not seeing a style. I'm just not convinced by what he's trying to do. And that's my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm right. That doesn't mean I want the guy gone tomorrow. That just means that what I'm seeing, I'm not happy with. Now, would I replace Arteta? Yes, I would. 100%. I don't want the guy out tomorrow to be replaced with a Thierry Henry or Tony Adams or Patrick Vieira, who's got the same amount of experience as the guy, who's not going to move us forward. But what I would say is if you was to say to me, like today I've seen, Rafa Benitez is about, do you think he would be the right manager to take us over at Arsenal? Who knows? But one thing I'll say is he's got the experience of the Premier League. He's got the experience of Europe. And I'd be more comfortable knowing that Rafa Benitez was at the front for Arsenal than I would Mikel Arteta. That's just the way I see it. And people can say that I'm wrong and I'm out of order and that it's awful. But I am questioning the manager. I'm allowed to do that as a fan. Trust me. So I would say that, and I love both of you and both of your opinions. We don't always agree all the time. But one thing to get straight is that we will say what we think about a football match. And what I saw out there today was wrong from Mikel Arteta. And I'll hope that on Tuesday night he plays that first team and that we win. Because otherwise it is going to get very, very uncomfortable for him. That's the way I believe it.
But Dan, even if he plays that first 11, so-called first 11 with all the big boys, that we have no divine right to say that we're going to beat anybody. It's a game, and we can lose because we could have. Hold on. We could have played the main team today and got beat by Southampton, and we could play the main team on Tuesday and get beat by Southampton. So let's have it right. We are not the Arsenal of the past. We are not.
But let me just answer that, right? So if he would have played that team that we think is going to play on Tuesday, our best side, he plays the best side today, right? And we lose, yeah? Of course we're going to be gutted, yeah? Absolutely. But what he would have done, he would have gone with the side that he thought was going to win that game because of what he's seen in the last few games. What he has done today is he's gone with a team that he knows has let him down, and he's lost, and he's scratching his head wondering why. So yes, we could have lost with a better side, 100%, and we might play on Tuesday and lose, but we would at least understand the team selection as being players in form and make it serious about going for that game. That game, one game at a time. Let's look at the FA Cup situation.
Players we got is our first 11. Really? That's
exactly.
Yeah, but that's not only informed. So how does he rotate? This is the question. How does he get some of these other players game time then, Dan? How?
Because what you do is you play the people that you believe deserve that game. Now, if you believe that Willian needs games, yeah, and you think that he has, oh my God, he needs games, then it's too late for that. He is not currently performing. So it's not, do you know what, Willian's crap, but he has to play because I've got no one else. I don't see the solutions from Arteta. If Willian doesn't play well, okay, then Nelson decides to come in. So why is it that Willian, we've got Nelson, but Willian has to keep playing? Nelson's not been playing either. So when does he get the game time? This is what I'm saying. There needs to be solutions.
Nelson started against Crystal Palace.
But what I'm saying, yeah, but listen, Willian's been playing most of the season. But
you're saying that Nelson's not getting a chance, and I'm saying to you, Nelson started against Crystal Palace.
Okay, so Nelson's played one game. Where's Maitland-Niles been for ages? Where's Willock been for ages?
Maitland-Niles started against Crystal Palace.
This is what I'm saying to you, though, because we're getting is...
But Dan.
He hasn't even been starting him, Casey.
Yeah, but this is my point, Sophie. My point of the matter is, whether it's Willian, whether it's Reece Nelson, whether it's Willock, whether it's Maitland-Niles, the manager has to say to himself, some of these players need games. Whoever he chooses, okay? Whoever he picks, they need games. And the best time I could give them an opportunity is in the Cups, because I definitely know in the league, I have a big chunk of games now where I believe we can get up that league. Whether we do or not, the manager has to think bigger, unfortunately.
Dan and Sophie from Matthew, how do you know Nelson and Willock are being dreadful in training? We never said they're being dreadful. That's not, no, what we're saying is if you're looking at how Pepe and Willian play in games, maybe they're good in training. I find it hard to believe that he's seeing something different in training to what they're playing on the pitch. I know that happens in football, but excuse me.
Why is it hard to believe then, Sophie?
So it's hard. You know why? Because, everyone wants to kill Joe Willock, right? Why can't he be given a chance? I said it at the beginning of the show. Why can't he be given a chance today if you're going to continue using Willian, who is crap over and over and over and over again? Maitland-Niles, okay, he may have had a bad game against Palace or Newcastle or whoever. He won game. Why can't you give him a chance if you're going to give Willian a chance and Pepe over and over and over again in an FA Cup game? It's not like we're playing Man United in the Premier League here. If you're going to rotate and if you're going to change the players and you're also going to switch players into not their natural roles, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, why?
There's only 11 players you can choose. You can't pick everybody.
So do people think then Willian and Pepe, and they're going, well, they've got no one else? Because that's what people are making out like.
Dan, that's not what I said.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm saying people in the chat, though.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But the key for me, and this is why we debate like we do, the key for me is whether Willian plays or Reece Nelson plays. I don't mind. Reece Nelson could come in, but Reece Nelson still needs game time to get up to speed. That's my point.
Okay.
So in order for him to get up to speed, he needs to play. So whoever he's choosing, who is not part of the first 11, has to come in and play. And the FA Cup today was the perfect opportunity to give those players game time. It never worked out. And we went out with it was a limp dick performance, Sophie. You are spot on. And I agree with you, both of you on that. But we've seen this happen time and time again with Arsenal. That's my point.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I want to do. You're listening to the Highbury Squad here. Thank you to the 400 plus strong people in chat. enjoying this live debate. We weren't going to come on air tonight, but we felt very passionate about the performance, and so we were going to take a night off, and we chose the wrong night off. And we said, you know what, we're just gonna come on air and talk about this, and we appreciate you joining us as well. So let me just see RFC.
Yeah. By the way, Anton, yes, I have seen Arteta. Yes, I have seen Arteta make a mistake or make mistakes.
Of course I have. Like
no, I'm not defending. What I'm defending is, Sophie, when the manager makes a decision, okay, like changing the team and rotating players, after the event, it's easy to say, oh, we made a mistake. It's easy. He changed the team previously and the team won. Nobody says he made a mistake in a win. But it's always is a mistake in a defeat.
No, but why can't we credit him and then at the same time criticize him?
You're asking me, so I'm telling you, right? So yes, of course, he makes mistakes in wins.
Okay.
And he makes mistakes in defeats. So I'm not protecting him one bit. I am not protecting him. I'm just saying, because he's rotating, whoever's going to come in as part of that rotation needs to get up to speed. And Southampton exposed us today with their work rate and their tenacity. And we have struggled against teams who do that.
Okay, so there was a good question up here, and I've missed it. It's kind of hopping here, so it's hard for me to find them. But the question was, and someone smartly wrote it: Are some players regressing under Arteta? Who's truly improved? And this isn't like, let's point the finger and put the spotlight on Arteta, because we know we have got poor players, you guys, and we've inherited them. We all know that. But we've also seen managers come in and do well with players and elevate them and pick up their game. History tells us so. Here's what I look at, Dan. I look at the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer model. I said this on the show the other day. If he can take that Man United team that was 14th, 15th last season to third and qualify for the Champions League, and now they're top of the league, I think the difference is they have more talent in certain positions than we do across the board, which makes it easier for him to elevate, and he's got a much stronger squad. But do you think there's some credence to the fact that maybe some players have regressed under Arteta? Has he really improved players? What's your take on that?
I think there are some that can say that they've flourished under Mikel Arteta. I think certainly Bukayo Saka is one of them. I think Kieran Tierney is looking like the left back we all wanted him to be. Some would argue that Rob Holding has improved. I think Smith Rowe has to be brought into that category. There's some positives here. And if you remember when I came on, my argument was not that we're all rubbish and that, all of our squad sucks. I think he's picked the wrong team for today's game, and it's frustrating me because I wanted to get through the FA Cup. That is what I came on here to discuss, because I believe that we should have been rotating in the league game. That was my big bugbear today, because I love the FA Cup, and I hate this nonsense about, it's not important for Arsenal to win the FA Cup. Well, it was in June when everyone was going nuts. We were loving it. So that's what I wanted to see happen again. And that's why I'm angry and frustrated today. So when I look at that situation, that's what bugged me the most. Have people regressed under him? I would say there's certainly some that have not moved anywhere. I would say Pepe under Emery and Arteta has not done any better. I would say certainly Willian has come in and not looked to be able to either pick up the form that he had from Chelsea or go on to do better. I would say that you would look at the situation with Lacazette and say that he has probably stayed roughly where he is until the last couple of games, and now he's got some younger players that are infusing him more. I would say there's players like at the back that you can look at to say hasn't really done so much there. So I think personally, any manager would struggle with this team, and I totally get that because they are pretty poor. Let's be honest. However, I can't get behind a manager who keeps making the same mistakes, and that goes from buying has-been players like Willian to being really not transparent with the situation with MaitlandNiles and his mismanagement of Saliba, and some of the other situations where he can chuck Pepe under the bus but can't chuck Xhaka under the bus because he's his favourite for doing pretty much the same thing. Those sort of things I don't get convinced by. Some of the players I want out of this club he's offering contracts to, like David Luiz. Granit Xhaka was pretty much on his way to Hertha Berlin. Please stay, please stay. Maitland-Niles, 25 million to Wolves. I was gutted if he would have gone. And he's staying now. I want him to be part of this squad, and he's not been part of the squad. There's so many question marks in what's happening so far that I've just not been convinced by. I want, and I'll stress this, I want Arsenal to win things. So I want Arteta to win for Arsenal. I don't want the guy out tomorrow, and I absolutely hate the guy. But what I will say is I don't believe he's the right man for this job. And I'll just be honest from what I'm seeing on the pitch. If we had an experienced guy, I never wanted this guy. Let's be honest. I never wanted this guy. We asked the owners for an Allegri or a Simeone, and they gave us an Emery. When Emery went and everyone hated him, we then wanted an Ancelotti. Ancelotti went to Everton, who are, by the way, doing very, very well. And all of a sudden, we get an inexperienced coach. And I never wanted Arteta. I never wanted him. So why am I going to start loving the guy who I didn't even want at the club? So that's my opinions. When I'm seeing him, if he would have been turning things around and getting the best out of this squad and getting the maximum out of this side and turning what we think is a poor side somewhere into around the top four, which, by the way, Emery did do, then I would be going, do you know what? Maybe this guy's okay. I am seeing us sitting 10th in the league. I'm seeing us now dumped out of the FA Cup. We lost to Olympiacos last season, and we've got Benfica, who are better than Olympiacos this season, and we're playing worse football. So I'm not seeing this and going, this is the right guy. And I'm sorry if fans don't like to hear that, but that's just the way that I see it. If people are liking what they're seeing on the pitch, then they can go for Arteta all they like, and you won't hear complaint from me. But I won't agree with what they're saying because I'm not happy with what we are doing this season. I don't like the way we're playing. I don't see a style. People can say he hasn't got the players to have a style, but Sam Allardyce hasn't got the players to have a style. Bielsa hasn't got the players to have a style, but they are playing good football. Leeds are playing great football. They've got a style. I understand what they're doing. I don't understand what Arteta's trying to do. I really don't.
Well said, Dan. Very
well.
What
I will say, Dan, is Bielsa's had, 3-4 years at Leeds to build that style of football. We're unfortunate.
You had a style straight away, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
identity. That's the word.
What I'm saying is, that's in Championship. When you're at the top level and you're playing, you're managing a team like Arsenal. You haven't got time. You have to. At Leeds, Bielsa could move and shake with unknown players easily because that's what he can do. At Arsenal, unfortunately, we've got players who were on big contracts who had let us all down. We all agree on that. We all agree. So what Mikel Arteta and Emery was trying to do was trying to revamp it. Emery tried it. Arteta's now having to do it, right? So it's a year and a bit down the line. He's still trying to revamp. Finally, we're starting to get some bodies out of the football club. We're starting to breathe a little bit more. We're starting to get some of these youngsters who have the energy, who have the talent. And again, it's upside down because this young talent shouldn't be carrying the experienced players. But this is the predicament Arsenal find themselves in because our recruitment have been so bad. So, unfortunately, Arteta can't build this team in his image until he can move and shake, get players out, get players in, and that probably won't fully happen until the summer.
Well, listen, one thing I will say about that, Kevin, I'll agree with you on, and the only positive, actually, in the last few windows, I've been okay with some of the signings that have come in the door. So that is why I'm quite happy with our recruitment of the last, which, by the way, has been shockingly bad over the last 15 years. I would say that Partey looks like a great signing. So does Gabriel. I've been happy with Martinelli and Tierney back when Emery was in charge with those two signings. I think Pablo Mari is actually an okay signing, to be honest with you, from what I've seen so far. If we believe the rumours are coming in about Odegaard, I would take a risk on him for 6 months to see what he's like. I think that Matt Ryan, that's a really good proven Premier League backup goalkeeper. Our recruitment has been superb. I even think Guendouzi was a good signing. I know that it didn't work out, but for 6 million and for a couple of seasons where he looked like he was a good player and playing most first teams, I would say that it was pretty good. I actually think Bert Leno was a good signing. So our recruitment has been much better. And that's the only thing I can look at with the Edu situation and the Arteta situation, which gives me the positives. But what I'm seeing on the pitch is not giving me that positives.
Yeah. No, you're right. Listen, what's happening on the pitch, you're right. And listen, it's been
in the pudding.
It's been up and down. And Sophie, you get crazy with me for saying it when they cross that white line.
I do.
When you pick a team in that shirt that you've got on, Dan, they have to perform, and we haven't been performing. That is agreed across this.
How is he preparing some of these players to perform? I know that players motivate themselves and they should be G'd up. They're professionals and stuff like that. But today it felt like they didn't really have that zest. Maybe it was the kickoff time. Sophie, let me just tell you something. I've been there. Okay.
If you get picked to play for Arsenal and you cannot raise your game for an FA Cup game as holders at Arsenal.
But Pepe and Willian haven't raised their game in a year. Well, Willian hasn't been there a year, but some players just haven't. Why? Arteta's been there now for a year and 2 months.
But you can't. Yeah, but hold on a minute. You can't look at the manager and say why is a player not performing. You have to look at the player.
Okay, so let me get you guys out on this. Thanks so much to everyone who's tuned in. If you're a first-time listener, thank you very much for joining us. If you dig us, hit that like button. That would be lovely. And if you don't, that's cool. We can still be mates and have a pint down the pub and disagree. And, if you really hate us, then don't be a hater. That's all I got to say. But we hope you've enjoyed this honest debate and conversation. We're all coming from a place where we love our club. We just want our club to do really, really well. And we have very differing opinions, but that doesn't mean we can't come together and kind of, really wish for the good of the club going forward. Some of us think that Arteta's the right guy. Some think not. Some think he just needs time. So for us, the cups are an avenue to have some joy as fans, because it's clear we're not going to do well in the Premier League, maybe for another season or two. We've got to be really prepared for that. So we've got 5 more minutes, and I want you guys to throw in a couple quick questions if you want. But someone asked a question. I can't find it. And the question was, if we finish below 10th and there's no trophy, so we don't end up winning the Europa League, does Arteta keep his job? Super Kev, you first.
I think Arteta will probably keep his job even if he finishes 10th. Yes.
Wow, very short and sweet there from Super Kev.
No messing around, because he started the revamp.
I just think Ancelotti won a double at Chelsea and got fired. Those are our standards, Dan. What do you think? We finish below 10th and we don't win the Europa League. What are your thoughts?
Then he should be sacked. It should be sacked, because we have got a squad, in my opinion, that should be doing better than below the top half. No matter what you live, we come 8th last season and we won the FA Cup. We were supposed to then look at going, we don't want to be anywhere near 8th this season. Everybody was saying we were going to fight for top 4. So how can you be aiming for top 4 and then get 11th or 12th and go, don't worry, nothing wrong with that.
This is a hypothetical question, mate. Come on. We don't know it's going to happen. But
no, I'm not saying that.
You can only say your opinion, Dan. I believe the club have stuck their colours to Mikel Arteta, and they're going to give him the time and the opportunity to build. That's what I think. So that's all I can say. Whatever you think, obviously you think he should be sacked.
Those standards in football, right? When we're looking at the ruthlessness of Chelsea, the ruthlessness of some of these other top tier teams, whether it's in the Premier League or across Europe, Super Kev, to finish in below 10th and not win any of the domestic trophies or the Europa League, that is a grand failure after being in the job for what would be a year and a half. Don't you think? Like, do you really keep someone who hasn't been able to turn? And I mean, I think we've talked about this before. You can inherit teams. There are people in corporate environments who inherit teams. They don't like some of the people, but they've got to manage them and they've got to get the best out of them. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. And there's some people are just kind of dead in the water. There's no working with them at all. You can't get the best out of them because they just don't have the kind of the gusto to be able to improve themselves and stuff like that. At some point, you've got to ask yourself, if he finishes in that type of manner, is he really the right guy for the job?
Yeah, but you also got to ask, does he have the players?
Do you think it's a Jurgen Klopp thing? Jurgen Klopp finished, 8th in his first season? And then he slowly climbed up the table. Again, I brought up Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They kept faith with him. You could argue if he goes on to win the Premier League, everyone who said get rid of Ole, well, he's won the league, right? So do you think
Lee Catlow in the chat, sorry to interrupt, Sean. Lee Catlow has just brought out a brilliant thing. Why did Emery get sacked if we're going to accept this dross? That's a great question. You might not agree with it, but that's a great question.
Yeah,
we looked like we were going to finish really, really low under Unai Emery, so he got sacked. So are we saying then that if Arteta does it, it's okay?
No.
That's a great question.
No, what I'm saying is he's inherited the same dross that Emery had at the end.
Where did Emery finish?
And hold on. We're talking about when he got sacked. We're not talking about the season previous, okay? With the same dross, he's done something that Emery never done. He's win a trophy. And I'm not saying that the FA Cup is everything. What I'm saying is he got something out of this team that Emery never, and that's to be winners. But the owners, I believe, have stuck the colours to Arteta. They never went for Allegri. They never went for Ancelotti. They never went for the experienced managers because the experienced managers would have wanted money to get a load of these boys out. And that's why they never done it. They put Arteta in because they want him to work with this squad and work with the budgets, etc., the restrictions that they've got. That's the only way, whether we like it or not as Gooners, whether we like it or not. And loads of people could say, it's failure. Yeah, but we've been a failing club for years.
Mm-hmm.
We have, unfortunately, we have.
I think Danny brings up a good point too. We're a very different team than we were back then. And it's difficult, especially in this era and this time. I don't think an Allegri fits our time right now. He may have 2 years ago, but now we're in COVID and we have to be fiscally responsible in so many different ways and manage players and transfers. I just don't think that kind of manager suits us right now. But that doesn't mean the right thing to do is also to stick with a manager who, as Arsenal Football Club, finishing below 10th and not winning anything is a grand failure. Let's all be honest, because we should have higher standards than that. But we're also not the same football club that we used to be. Yeah. Someone just put something in chat, and we're going to end it right now. Thanks so much, Dan, for joining us too, and everyone in chat. And absolutely on fire tonight. As always. I mean, we could go on all night. No one's leaving, and there's more people joining as well. But someone said, Sophie, can you please end the show on a positive note? I'm like, okay. I could do that. I'm going to let KC and Dan give us something positive on how we can end the show and move forward.
Well, one thing we do know is the team that's going to play on Tuesday is going to be a lot stronger than this team that played today. And we're going to give it our everything on Tuesday. Let's be honest. And we need to win. It's a game we need to win. So, fair enough. It never worked out for us today. We were awful today. We better not be awful on Tuesday. And I expect the big hitters will come back. Them youngsters will play and they'll lift the experience. So that's what I'm expecting. The Croydon De Bruyne.
Goonatel wanted you to play up front today, KC. I would have gone for that as well, to be honest with you.
I 100% agree with that. I think Kev's right. Kev's right with the positives. Listen, there is only one positive at the moment, and it is the players that we are excited to watch. And it ain't them lot out there today. We have some positives at this club. I still feel we have a good goalkeeper. Today again proved that he kept us in.
Two great saves.
Two great saves. I still feel that we have a brilliant, potentially superb left back. I still feel that defensively we're better. I still feel that in midfield we have some exciting youngsters like Saka, Martinelli, and Smith Rowe. And let's get it true, we have got two strikers that over the last 3 years know where the net is. So that is the positives 100%. We just need to try to keep this momentum going within the league now. And I hope, and I didn't want to go out the FA Cup, but I really hope that it doesn't affect our league form as well, because it will get to that stage. What's this, Sonny? I wouldn't let Willian on my float.
Sonny boy, you Sonny, Jesus.
Big up, Sonny.
Is that Sonny's positive sign off? I mean,
yeah, that's Sonny's positive. Bless you, Sonny. Bless you.
Ali here. Smith Rowe will bring us some excitement. Completely agree. Alex thinks that KC just came back from an SAS training. He means business. Absolutely.
Up me ladder.
The positive of the show for Colorado Gooner was hearing me be profane. I mean, I don't like. If my mum hears it, I'm in trouble. You guys, I've got to admit. Like, oof. And Taib, that's a brilliant one. Dan is quality. We completely agree.
We agree with that one.
Dan
definitely.
is absolute quality. And you can hear his show every Friday. The team talk on Same Old Arsenal has some great guests, and he hosts it beautifully. And we adore Dan. And he's become a brother from another mother, from a podcast perspective. So
I adore you both too. Thank you very much. And cheers to you.
Top man, Dan. Top man.
And then a lot of people have been asking me to say it one more time because they know they're never going to hear it again. So here's the one for you, for all the guys that were asking. Sokratis Papastadopoulos. There you have it.
Love that.
Love it.
I mean, if only Dinos Mavropanos comes back, then we can continue that one. But unfortunately, Sokratis Papastadopoulos is no more. He has gone completely. So listen, thanks to everyone in chat. Really just great. Hit that like button for us. Let us know what you think. Even if you don't agree, we love hearing all of your comments on the show. If you hate us, love us. It doesn't matter to us. As long as you get the platform to express your opinion as an Arsenal fan, that's what matters to us the most. Okay. So, yes, Mr. Otopoulos is at the laundrette now. So read my DM, babe. Oh, who?
Aye,
Ryan.
aye.
Look at aye. Hello. What?
Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Ryan. What's going on there then? All right. Well, listen, until next time, we'll be back on Monday. Dan, thanks again for joining us on this impromptu show. And Super Kevin Campbell, where do I begin with you? You know where I begin. I always begin with love. And I love that you and I can agree to disagree. But the fact that we have you on this show talking post FA Cup after a loss, having been there, having won the thing, having competed at the highest level, for fans to be able to interact with you, I don't think it gets old when I say thank you so very much.
No, Bo, listen, I love coming on. Obviously, I love you, Sophie. Princess Kuno's probably listening. I love her. And Dan, you, Lee, everyone we get on here, everybody in the chat. I just think there ain't many podcasts like we do. Do you know what I mean? There ain't many like that. So it's my pleasure to come on and interact with the fan base. I think that's really important. As now I'm a fan myself. I'm back being a fan. And I love it.
Love that.
Love that. All right, perfect.
Can I just say, Sophie, as well, massive fan of this channel. Obviously, it's my favorite podcast by far. Soph, absolutely wicked host. You really are, man. You're absolutely superb every time. And KC, just a top man. But what I want to ask is just everyone in the chat to please like and subscribe. This does not get enough viewings, in my opinion. It should get 4 million times the amount that it does. It is superb. So please, everyone hit the likes, everyone subscribe and get involved, because this is a fantastic podcast and the guys do great. And thank you so much for having me on, Soph.
Thank you so much. And Wayne, thank you so much. This is what matters to us, our lockdown series, the amount 100%. Of notes that we've been getting from people saying how it's helped you. Trust me, you help us as well. Yeah. You help us get through every single day, and to be connected with you in this way means the world to us. And to hear from all of you, we're always here Monday through Friday, and the odd impromptu weekend show as well. But this is the purpose. This is why we did it. We all need each other in this time, and we can argue and debate about Arsenal, but at the end of the day, you know, we can come together and, give each other a virtual hug and share some love as well. So big up to everybody. Amazing. Thank you for sharing your Saturday with us. Means everything to us. Right. KC, you tell them.
Listen, you frustrate us, Arsenal, but we love you. So come on, you Gunners, for Tuesday. Come on.
That's it.